Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Susan Feist, and today I'm going to be breaking down my 0.93 2x2 PR average that I got at Cubing by the Kings OH 2025. This average currently ranks me 4th in the world, and I'm very happy to get it. So yeah, let's get straight to it. Alright, so this was the first scramble. This was a 0.77. The first thing that I saw was on red. It was this 3-move face into this TCL case, this is a decent TCL, and it does cancel into it, but it's kind of awkward. So I ended up not going for that. I ended up looking at blue next, and I saw that there was a U2 R2 U R prime into U prime lefty sexy sledge U prime. So I knew that was a pretty decent solution, but kept looking, and what I ended up seeing was on yellow there was this R prime into this pretty nice TG2 case, and here it's basically just cancel into the TCL alg. So here you can either do U2 R prime, U2 RUR, and then you just end up with like either R2B2 R2 or R2F2 R2. But here you can actually do like an alternate alg where it's a lot nicer to cancel at the end, that goes like this. And then here you can cancel into R2F2 R2, which is what I ended up going with. So my full solution is I held it here and did U prime RU R2 U prime, then canceling into R2F2 R2, just ending it off with the F2 and then R2. This was the second scramble. The solve was a 0.87. The first thing that I saw was on white. There was 5 moves into diag pi, and here it's kind of mid because you have to like rotate, or you can make a layer like FQ2 FRF prime, but that's kind of chopped. So then I ended up looking at next is like just doing like FQ2R into the EGLS, and here this is actually pretty nice, where you just hold it here and do like U prime RF R from F prime and insert. So I knew that was a pretty decent solution, but I ended up wanting to keep looking, and I did not remember how to undo what I just did. So, but then I kept looking, and so I ended up seeing on blue that there was R prime F prime into U, and then lefty Elias shift U prime. So I thought that was pretty nice, and that's what I ended up going for. So my full solution is I held it here and did R prime F prime U, and then just lefty hedge, and then like lefty insert. This was the third scramble. The solve was a 102. The first thing that I saw was on yellow. You can do 4 moves into this 2-gen CL case, and here, if you just do this, you can go straight into an alg here that starts with R prime UR, and that's not too bad. But I also saw you can just build the layer with R prime U prime FR, and here you end up with it from this angle, and here you can actually cancel into an alg that's just left soon, right soon. I also ended up looking at orange, and I saw that there was just 3 moves into this large CLA case, and here you can cancel into like F prime U and then like double sledge, double sexy, which that's pretty decent. But I ended up just going back to my basic solution, or I actually did check green, and I saw that there was like this into this easy one, which is pretty decent. And I know you can like do like a long insert here, and you end up with like Nicholas. But what I ended up going with, which is going back to the first thing that I one-looked, which was pretty nice, which was just R prime U prime R, and then instead of inserting this, you just cancel into left soon. So my full solution was I held it here and did R prime U prime R U prime, R prime F2R, and then just soon with no UF. Alright, so this was the fourth scramble. The solve was a 0.92. The first thing that I saw was on red. There's just a basic 3 moves into this EG1 case, and that's pretty nice, and you can just do U prime and go straight into the alg with no UF. But I know we can also do a U prime before and then build the face like this, and then we can end up where we can cancel into it. And that's pretty awkward. And there's like a pretty decent angle that you can probably find to execute that from, but I ended up wanting to look for something else because I knew that that was still kind of mid. And what I ended up finding was actually pretty nice, which is on blue. You can do FR into the same TCLL from Solve 2, just like lefty Elias shift, and you have it from the back. So you could either hold it here and do like UR, U prime, and then just lefty Elias shift, which is pretty nice. But what I ended up actually doing is I know there's an alg that you can hold from here where you can cancel into it, which is just like sledge and then just U2R. So that's what I ended up going with. So my full solution is I held it here and did F and then just sledge U2R. And 0.92 on this is kind of a bit of a rip. I did lock up a little bit, and this could have probably been the best time, but I was still like in the moment, I was still happy to get a pretty decent average, and I'm pretty sure I had a 0.94 average locked at this point. So yeah. Alright, this was the last scramble. The solve was a 0.99. The first thing that I saw was there was 1 move into this EG1LS case on yellow, and I checked doing the long insert, and then from that I knew what the EGLS case was because of insert recognition. And I know that if we do a short insert, we can get this case, and here we can actually just do cancel into sort of like anti-soon, and here we end up with diag pi, and we can just cancel into that with no UF. So basically it's kind of just like an alternate EG1 alg where we just do R U2 R prime U prime and then just diag pi cancel. So I saw that and I knew that I had a pretty decent shot at like getting like another sub 1. So, but then I still kept looking and I ended up looking at blue next, and I saw that there was U prime R into this pretty decent EGLS case where I usually just do F2 and then I cancel into this ALG to the LS, but it has U2AUF here, so I didn't end up going with that. And I also looked at the other yellow layer and I checked doing U prime R into this EGLS case, which usually this is going to chop because you insert into this, but here the EGLS ALG is pretty nice. You hold it here and just do like R2, U2 and hedge. But I also noticed that or you can also do like this sort of type of layer and then you end up with like diag pi, which is like decent. But I ended up just going back to the pretty basic spammy solution, which was the first thing that I saw. So my full solution is I held it here and did R U prime and then R U R prime U prime and then canceling into diag pi, R prime F prime, R2 U, R prime U2. And that locked in my 0.93 PR 2x2 average. I'm very happy to PR again. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. See you guys later. Peace out.